for further reaction to the by-election results from Tamworth and Mid Bedfordshire is Daisy Cooper, the Deputy Leader of the Liberal Democrats. Really good to talk to you this morning. Just in terms of the Lib Dem performance, how do you view that? I mean, certainly in terms of Mid Beds, you did well there. In terms of Tamworth, less well?
So we were clearly disappointed not to win either of the by-elections. Obviously, as a smaller party, we have to target our resources, and we did target our resources on Mid Bedfordshire. And what you can see from the result is that despite the fact that we didn't win, we did in fact double our share of the vote. We won over the support of thousands and thousands of lifelong Conservative voters who wanted to now vote for the Liberal Democrats and send a message to the government. And I think what we've shown is that our efforts there have been instrumental in defeating the Conservatives in Mid Bedfordshire. And I hope very much at the next general election, our efforts will be instrumental in defeating the Conservatives at the next election when it comes.
I mean, it did take an extraordinary effort there in Mid Bedfordshire, didn't it, Daisy Cooper? I mean, it was described as Labour, as the Lib Dems and Labour tearing lumps out of each other to win the seat. But despite all of that, yes, you increased the vote share, but it's still gone to Labour.
Well, on this occasion, it has. And clearly what ended up happening was it became a fight between three major parties. But as I say, at the next general election, the Liberal Democrats will be focusing our efforts on those 80 seats where we are in second place to the Conservatives, where we are the key challengers in those blue wall seats and the only party that can beat the Conservatives in those seats.
There's so much apathy in Britain's politics at the moment, people staying at home, preferring not to vote. We've also spoken a great deal about people voting positively and proactively. What can the Lib Dems offer to this country? Why should people vote for you?
Well, what we found in Mid Bedfordshire in particular was that many people were voting positively for us and some were voting tactically as well to send a message. Now, many people wanted to vote positively for our candidate because she was really fantastic. Emma was deeply rooted in her community, and around the country where Liberal Democrats are the key challengers, we do have candidates who are deeply rooted in their communities and they're really strong local champions. We're also offering a positive vision on key issues around our plan to fix the crisis in our NHS and social care and our plan to tackle the cost of living crisis. But we recognise, of course, that under this first past the post voting system, we do also have to ask people to vote tactically, and many people are prepared to do that if it is going to help us to defeat this Conservative government.
And what does that tactical voting mean, Daisy? Because you went head to head with Labour and the Tories here in Mid Bedfordshire, but in other constituencies the Lib Dems haven't put up as big a fight. Are we going to start seeing pacts in certain constituencies with Labour when it comes to the general election campaign in order to kick the Tories out of those seats?
Absolutely not. There won't be any pacts. There haven't been any pacts. There won't be any at all. We don't need pacts. I think in most cases, voters can see very clearly who the key challengers are. Clearly, I think Mid Bedfordshire was a bit of an anomaly in that respect. But when it comes to the general election, it will be very clear in most places who the key challengers are to the Conservative MPs, and we'll be putting our efforts into those 80 seats where Liberal Democrats are the key challengers and the only party that can beat the Conservatives in those places.
Daisy, I mentioned there will be boundary changes as well. Just in terms of some of the polling that's been done, 11,000 voters were asked how they're going to vote at the next general election. The results show the Lib Dems get 23 seats, Labour gets a 190-seat majority. The Conservatives predicted to lose every red wall seat secured at the last election. How do you persuade those people who have had enough of the Conservatives, who don't trust Labour, that the Lib Dems is the party for them?
Well, under our first past the post system, those kind of polls don't always stack up because what they show is a kind of national voting intention rather than how people are prepared to vote on a seat by seat basis. And as I say, we'll be focusing our efforts in those seats where Liberal Democrats are the key challengers to the Conservatives. I think what those polls often show is not any kind of huge enthusiasm or love for the Labour Party. What they normally show is a really strong anti-Conservative vote. And many people are prepared to vote for the best choice to beat the Conservatives. So we'll continue to focus our efforts in those areas, and we hope that we can win dozens and dozens of seats at the next general election.